The Reds got swept, Roger, but there's signs of life. Are you ready?
Let's go.
This is the Red Hot Reds podcast. Here are your hosts, Ricky Logan and Roger Straz.
Welcome to the Red Hot Reds, a Cincinnati Reds podcast hosted by myself, Roger Straz, and Reds on SI writer Ricky Logan. This week, lots of emotions, lots of maybe end of the season emotions, lots of last out, last strike to win the game, to win the series emotions. It's been a lot crazy stuff, Ricky. What has been your emotional state this week?
Man, it's been like the wildest roller coaster for me. Just the lows of the Milwaukee series, and then the highs of Friday and Saturday, and then today. Just it's been a whirlwind, but there's signs of life, as we said in the beginning here, and there's some hope coming soon with some reinforcements coming next week. So yeah, we can dig right into it.
You're talking about TJ Friedl, right? Coming back into the no, but TJ Friedl is back. Blake Dunn is injured. We're gonna get in that with injury stuff, but goodness gracious, it has been a weird week. We start off the week against the team that owns us. I guess we call them daddy type of scenario, the Milwaukee Brewers, and then we get to play them for a 4-game series this week. So we might be back in that same emotional state of sell the team, fire Crawl, fire Miador, fire Tito. Can't fire all the players, unfortunately. We can try. Obviously we got some guys we want in the minors to get called up and everything, and I was fully prepared for that kind of scenario. We're going to get into like, oh yes, Hector Rodriguez should be on this team. Trevor Kunzel should be in the bullpen. Let's clear the 40-man. It was my emotional state after the first couple games of the Milwaukee series. What was your first takeaways from Milwaukee?
Well, but speaking of fire, everybody, I was on the verge of a fire Tito tweet of Friedl was going to hit leadoff today. But yeah, I mean, the Milwaukee series it was, the bullpen, to give credit, was really good for the most part of the series. It was just really bad, just luck in terms of the offense not stringing together enough hits to drive in runners. We left a lot of runners on base, and, it's just, for some reason, we just can't do that against the Brewers. We can't get that key hit to drive in the runner when you need it the most. And yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what else to say. It's just we can't beat the Brewers to save our lives, except for last year when we took 2 out of 3 to finish the season in Milwaukee when we were desperate to try to get into the playoffs. But I don't know, maybe if we treated every game like we needed to win to get into the playoffs, we might actually win some games. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to say that the Brewers had already clinched, and they had their 97, I think, best in their franchise amount of wins, career total or season total of 97 wins. So that they were kind of the same. I think we might have benefited from the Cubs clinching and then getting that 4-game sweep with that infamous, one hitter from Mr. Hunter Green. And speaking of reinforcements, and we'll talk about Hunter Green in a little bit. But yeah, it was kind of weird. It was a game that or a series that we were in every single game. And the whispers of David Bell's "we're close" always comes to mind when we get in these stinking games where we're not really close because, like you said, we clog the bases and just don't have anybody that can put us over the top. We go to extra innings, in game number 1, right? And lose 2-1. I think it was 0-0 going into extras or something like that, right? Like they ended up scoring 2 at the top of the 10th. We scored 1 to make it competitive, but it never really. Yeah, we kind of wasted a good Brady Singer start, which you don't get many of those in 2026. Like
as we found out today.
Yeah, well, that's what's been the norm. The Brady Singer start of 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts on Monday. Goodness gracious, where has that been all season, Ricky?
Yeah, and you know what's sad is like that was the game that kind of broke Santion too, because he allowed a hit, right? Or what was it? I'm trying to remember how it happened. I'll go back to the summary here.
I say he had the Manfred runner on in the top.
Yeah,
of
the Manfred runner, sacrifice bunt, runner goes to third, and then he wild pitch.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's what scored the second run. Just awful. And Santion had been pitching better prior to Monday's game, which was kind of sad because I think you could tell like something was probably bothering him. But when your bullpen's already so depleted, like you kind of feel like you have to step up and be that guy. But now they're going to be without him for multiple weeks, if not a month, if not longer. And it's just unfortunate. But yeah, man, like just to give up 2 runs in the top of the 10th. And it seems like I don't know the stats on this, but like the Reds have been so bad in extra innings over the last like 4 years. Like ever since the Manfred runner has been a thing, they just haven't done a good job of winning games at home with their runner on second base. And we saw that again on Monday.
Yeah, like the last extra inning win that I can think of is the multi-homer game by Nathaniel Lowe back in April, I want to say. A game that got, I think, weather delayed and they end up going way into the night, into the extras, I believe was the game. I think it was the Tigers. Yeah, it was. Yeah, because they had a bunch of calls that the game was like 9-2 or 8-2 or something like that, and the Reds ended up winning 9-8 or something crazy like that. Back when the good old days in April, Ricky. I don't know if you remember those days when we were.
That's a long time ago.
Long time ago for this team. It seems like we are playing Reds baseball in terms of like we can't make the winning plays anymore, and that was evident on that game 1 of Milwaukee. Game 2 was like more of the same. We were just getting pitched to by what was it this time? It was Brandon Woodruff on Monday. On Tuesday, I forget who the pitcher, but it's just no hit again. We were just in the same cycle of just like we can't do anything against this Brewers team, and I don't know what it is. Like it can't be just the Brewers are that much better than us. I know they're a good team. They have good development, usually good sound defense and pitching, but like it seems like we just clam up and just can't play against them. It ends up being a situation where they play less than themselves. The Reds I'm talking about. Like the Reds just play like they're minor leaguers again, and they're playing up against these guys that are world beaters. And yeah, all credit to Milwaukee. They're leading the division. They're 20 games over 500, but it's not like they're going up against the 1927 Yankees. They're not going up against the best of the best. They're not going up against a team that, I mean, they probably win maybe 100 games, I guess, but like I don't know. They're a bunch of above average players that play good defense, play to their strengths and get the job done. But the Reds just can't get hits. They can't get like a hit against a team like that. And that's the craziest part, is that it felt like we were resigned to, we're getting swept no matter what. This team can't even put up a fight. It's just we're fighting with like one arm behind our back and trying to beat this Goliath of the Milwaukee Brewers, who technically have a smaller payroll than us. So that's just like, then everyone else is getting on to the Reds about how we don't spend. It's a front office, fire everybody.
Like the whole spending thing, it really, really grinds me because we do spend. Like it's not like we're not spending, and it's going back, it's we're spending. We're just spending on the wrong people. We're just making dumb moves. I mean, in hindsight, the Moustakas move back in 2019 seemed like a good move. He was coming off a career high, I think, in home runs and doubles. He was just hitting the ball everywhere. He was doing really good, but then he just age and injuries caught up to him. And then the next cycle, they go get Jeimer Candelario. And I had a feeling from the beginning, but that whole situation, he plays like what 3/4 of the season in his first year, plays absolutely atrocious in April of 25 and just gets cut. And we still owe him another 2 years because I think they still have to pay his club option or his option or opt out or whatever it is. They still have to pay that on top of this year's salary. So there's that. But, like the whole, they were going to go get Schwarber. I mean, you and me, we were both clamoring for it. We wanted it. And had Schwarber accepted, I think they would have actually signed him. But it's not that they didn't try. It's just I think Crawl kind of prioritizes the wrong moves, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I don't like the adage here recently that the Reds don't spend. It's just they spend on the wrong guys.
Yeah, they preached to us that they need to rebuild the bullpen and add Pierce Johnson, add Brock Burke, or trade for Brock Burke. You know what I mean? And add some other arms, Caleb Ferguson and whatnot. And what has that gotten us? It feels like the bullpen is the reason why this team is at least not playing 500 baseball, but maybe not even competitive because we've lost so many leads. The meltdown stat that I think we've cited and many people have cited, like leads all baseball. The walks that this bullpen gives away is like 1 or 2 in baseball behind the Astros. It's like, well, if you were here to rebuild the bullpen, you kind of failed if we're grading it right now. Now it's been a little bit better of late. There's been some guys that have stepped up, ironically, that we didn't think would even be a part of this 26-man team or 26-man roster in 2026. So like we'll get in more than that later with the bullpen and everything. But it's just been kind of a self-own for this front office again in terms of everyone's putting out the stats that now Kyle Schwarber's got 30 homers. And we could have used that. Here's the thing, Ricky. I don't know exactly if that makes us all of a sudden a contender because this 2026 Reds team is hitting home runs. They're just not hitting when they need to. Maybe Schwarber could be that bases loaded, unclog the base pass kind of guy. Maybe. But like, what if it comes up and it's a Trevino? Or you know what I mean? Like, or it comes up and it's Matt McClain. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you could just substitute Schwarber every single time that there's a base loaded 1-out situation. But neither here nor there. The point being is that it does sting that the thing they do prioritize blows up in their face more times than not this season. I know they can't control the results, but they said they were going to prioritize the bullpen. They're going to work on signing some other guys, filling out this roster and what have you. Trade for Dane Myers, trade for Kyle Nicholas. Goodness, that looks worse and worse day by day because of Tyler Callahan of it all, which we'll get into in the Pirates series. But I think you're right. You nailed it. This front office identified needs, got players, and what have we got for it? You know what I mean? We're 3 games under 500, playing horribly these last 2 months, undid all the goodwill that they got in April, and basically are just like, we're sellers now.
Yeah, and what's crazy about like all of that is like I don't know who was available that they could have went after to help the bullpen, but I think it's just the regression of it all too, with Pagan not performing like he did last year, and then the injury happened, and then Santion, he's pitching like 180 games in the last 2 years. It feels like.
Yeah.
He pitched in 80 games last year. I think it was up there the year before that. So he's pitched in a lot of games. I think his arm's just shot at this moment. And then, the guys that they've brought up, Connor Phillips didn't really stick around. He was having issues with command. I think he's on the injured list currently in Louisville. Mm-hmm. Sam Maul has been hit or miss recently. I think the real rock in the bullpen, funny enough, has been TJ Antone. I think he's been the one guy that's really kind of stood out, just getting guys out, not just by the strikeout, but also, getting the ground out when they need it, and he's keeping the ball in the ballpark, which a lot of times is, can get especially when the offense isn't scoring, like we didn't in the Milwaukee series. So it's just a shame that like the offense has been so bad, but when the offense scores, the bullpen blows the lead. And when the offense doesn't score, the bullpen is good. So it's kind of like a backwards revolving door where like one's always good and then they flip, and it's just you can't get them good on the same day. It's not clicking like it did in April, like where everything just seemed to work. And there's just been regression everywhere. I think Bladay's hitting down under 250 now. So and Nathaniel Lowe hasn't had a earned run since he said back in Nam, which is like May. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There are signs of life. Like we are seeing signs of optimism, winning a series this week, and beating the Yankees last week on the road. So that's, like they beat teams outside of the division. It's just they've struggled in division, and they've really struggled against Milwaukee. And, until they fix that, we're not going to be a serious contender.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to praise the bullpen again, because last time I did the show by myself last week on Sunday, the bullpen went 23 innings, 17 hits, 6 earned runs, 10 walks to 18 strikeouts for 2.35 ERA. And they were in that kind of range up until Pierce Johnson blew this game on Sunday in Pittsburgh, which we'll get into. They had a pretty decent week for that. But yes, the bullpen's been it's just been kind of weird. Mole was good in April and May, but then it's been terrible in June. TJ Antone's probably been the most consistent guy, and that's saying a lot, because I didn't think he was going to even be on the major league roster, let alone be a guy that they go to in the big moments. So that all credit TJ Antone for working his way back, and I think earning his first save since 2021 or something like that.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago. So shout out to him.
Yeah, and just it seems like he's a extremely hard worker. What's he had 3 Tommy John surgeries? Just having that ability to get back is to not only get back but to be one of the best relievers in the bullpen has been just great to see.
Yeah, he earned all those grays in his beard for sure. And we'll keep him on this roster if he keeps pitching this way for as long as he wants. I have no problems with that, because somebody's got to do the job, and I don't know who else is going to be. It's just Chase Petty, I guess.
I have some things I want to say about him later, but yeah.
Okay, for sure. We'll make sure to circle back on that. There was another reliever that made his debut, a guy that has had a long journey as well, just like TJ Antone. I believe drafted, what is it, in 2018? I want to say it's
2016.
2016. Oh, goodness. It's 2016. And spent 8 years in the minors, took a year off as well. A guy that was roommates with our guy, Trevor Kunsel, down in AAA Louisville. Mr. Julian Garcia was promoted this week. Chris Paddock, thank you for the memories, but no thank you for all those 7-8 ERA outings that he had. So, but no, we got a guy that is in-house, bullpen, added to the 40-man, deserving debut. I think he got called up on Monday, but didn't make his debut till the Tuesday game against the Brewers, and pitched in relief, I think, right after the starter for that day. What was it, Lodolo? They got hurt with his wrist, and then they had Julian Garcia come in.
Yes.
So shout out to Julian Garcia. Any thoughts on Julian Garcia and his debut?
Yeah, he looked good. He did struggle with walks. In Milwaukee versus Milwaukee, he walked 2. Did have 3 strikeouts, so his strikeout per 9 was like 12.9, I think, in Louisville this year, extremely high. And he's got good strikeout stuff. He's really good at getting guys to chase, but he did struggle with walking guys. It might have just been nerves. First start, getting there. Did walk 3 today, Sunday, I think. Yeah, inning in the third, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. So he's got 5 strikeouts, 5 walks. Nice 1-to-1 ratio there. Could be worse. We did see 7 consecutive walks versus Pittsburgh earlier in the season, so could be worse. And I don't know how long he sticks around only because he might be the move with the Pagan promotion. But yeah, I think I think he looked good, and I think he's earned a chance to stick around. But I don't know how long of a leash he gets just based on who's coming back and when everything comes back.
Yeah, I didn't check out how many options he had, but definitely I would like to think they keep him around because there has been a lot of guys who have been performing pretty well. I obviously we got a bunch of older veterans like TJ Antone and Sam Mole and now Pagan coming back. So I think you'd like to have, I guess, the younger Julian Garcia. Is he 31? So, but yeah, he's definitely a guy that you'd like to get a little bit more leash and then just have a quick debut and sent back down. I thought that was going to be Edwin Arroyo's story.
Yeah, me too.
But they ended up optioning down Benson for who am I thinking of now? For Ellie De La Cruz, our most important player on franchise. Anyway, so yeah, Julian Garcia, though, great story. A guy that persevered. We got a bunch of those kind of guys in this organization, which is great. You know, as we've been talking about a lot, TJ Antone's one of them that's persevered. Trevor Kunsel has persevered. They signed a couple indie ball guys this week. Stephon Moore is an indie ball guy that's looking to make a name in Double-A Chattanooga, and we'll probably talk about this more in the Minor League Monday section of our podcast. But yeah, it's good to see. These guys should be hungry. I mean, this team isn't performing well, so you would think that these opportunities, these guys are not going to waste them because, gosh, every single out, every single opportunity, this team really needs someone to do the job because we have very small margins. We're not scoring 10 runs a game with this offense. We're getting maybe 4, 5, or 6 at best on a good day.
Yeah. It feels like when we do score 7 or 8 or 9, we're giving up 10 or 11. So it's one of those things, like we just can't seem to figure that out where we can have a good bullpen day on a good offensive day. It just never seems to turn out that way.
No, that was probably back in April. That's when the last time we had that feeling where we're like, okay, we got a lead. We got guys that shut it down. No, but we still got some optimism with Hunter Green and Emilio Pagan coming back. Obviously, Santillan getting hurt is a big blow. Even though he's struggled, you still have that veteran arm and all that. And maybe Chase Petty is a closer in his future or a setup man. I don't know if exactly enjoys that role. I think the pay disparity between starter versus reliever is a big one. But he did earn his first save, which is, shout out to him. Getting the save was yesterday or 2 days ago.
Saturday, yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's going to be a lot of movement in this organization, not just at the majors level, but the minors as well. So we'll see how it all shakes out. But so far, so good, I think, for Julian Garcia. I hope he sticks around. He definitely deserves at least a good, solid month to show if he has what it takes to make it in the majors.
Yeah, he's got good strikeout stuff, and that translates. So if he can just keep the walks down, he can be a really effective reliever. And being 31 years old, he's not young by any means, but he's not aging either. He's still fairly youthful compared to like a Pierce Johnson or Emilio Pagan.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think we will talk about the Pittsburgh series and how the Reds did there. Finally getting a little bit of the monkey off their back after this ad.
I made the switch from traditional coffee to mud water because of all that caffeine was leaving me feeling anxious. Mud water has a fraction of the caffeine, plus organic ingredients and functional mushrooms like lion's mane, reishi, chaga, and cordyceps to support immune functionality. It became a healthier part of my morning routine, and I genuinely enjoy the rich flavor. If you want to give it a try, use our exclusive link, mudwater.com/allglovesoff, and you'll get 20% off your first order.
Shout out to Mudwater, new sponsor for All Gloves Off. Check them out. Nice ad, Ricky, there. But yeah, let's get into the Pittsburgh series. We went into this series 2-16 against the division.
Yeah.
What in the what is that? That is just like that sounds like we're losing 100 games this year type of talk going into that kind of thing. But if you look at the weird stat that the Reds had, and I think you brought it up earlier in the show, the Reds kill everybody except the NL Central. They literally got like a 35-26 record against everybody at the NL Central. And then when we play our division, wow, do we lay a huge egg. And that was kind of the feeling going into this series of Pittsburgh. Like, could we get swept again? Could we walk 7 straight guys again? What were your first thoughts of this Pittsburgh series?
Yeah, thank God that Tito didn't go with Dane Myers, that the situation fell where he didn't have to go to Dane Myers to pinch hit on Friday, because he said after the game that was a situation where he would pinch hit Dane Myers and not Noelvi Marte. And, Marte came in through the clutch and hit that go-ahead 2-run home run in the 8th. So that was huge. Caleb Ferguson has been, like, really surprisingly good. Kind of someone that hasn't really been on my radar. Probably should be a 1.32 or a 1.84 ERA on the season. In his last 7 games, 6 2/3, an earned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. I was thinking about this too with some of the upcoming injury moves. I might just save that for later, but I think that the Reds have 3 lefties in the bullpen. I think they can get away with moving one, and Ferguson should be one that they keep unless they make a trade and they can get something if they're selling. But yeah, Saturday was fun. Just finally, having that clutch hit when you needed it, and Marte off a lefty was really cool to see. He's had his struggles versus lefties over his career so far. So good to see, and I'm really glad that he came through in that moment.
Absolutely. And then when we really needed that clutch hit in the Brewers series, we finally got it this series. And that's kind of crazy to say out loud, because it could have been the same old where against the Pirates, where we got swept early in May, just weren't competitive at all. We were really competitive this series, which it should be a granted, right? Like, that should be something we take for granted, that we're going to be competitive against our division, but it hasn't been that way in 2026. It's been very uncompetitive, swept by the Pirates, like I said, back to back, then swept by the Cubs for 4 games. And now we go into a new week with a 4-game series against the Brewers. So do we still carry that competitive juice going into the 4 games? I certainly hope so, but it's going into Milwaukee. I guess, maybe they can channel the 2025 Reds, where they had to win 2 games at least to get into the playoffs and sneak on in. But the Brewers are still the Brewers. It's not like this team changed from one week to the next, right? So it's going to be an uphill struggle, uphill battle for this division, just to, like you said, water meeting its level. How many more games do we have to win to get back to 500? We're 4-17 in the division. We doubled our win total in the division this weekend. It is almost the 4th of July.
Signs of life.
Oh, I guess so. Yes, that is one way to say it. It could be also, I don't know, Fangraphs is right. I don't think so, because they keep saying that the Pirates have like a 51% chance of making the playoffs, and they look terrible. Skeens can't win a game. Mitch Keller doesn't look exactly as dominant as he should. They got guys that aren't playing up to their, I don't even know, O'Neal Cruz has gone missing. And so, like, forget the Pirates. Like, I tweeted out, if Paul Skeens can't beat the Reds, he should have Cy Young votes taken away, because it seems like, or at least stop putting him in that conversation, because they keep going like, oh, the best 3 pitchers in the NL Central, Mizorowski, Paul Skeens, and I don't even know who the third one is anymore. They
Insert don't, Cubs pitcher here.
Yeah, I don't know. They just never mention Chase Burns. And
Chase even in the past, they never even mentioned Hunter Green.
Right.
And Hunter Green earned Cy Young votes in 2024. So, and granted, like, he's been injured a lot, but still, when he's out there, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, not just the National League Central.
Yeah, it feels like I don't understand it. Maybe because the Pirates have been worse than us over the last 15 on years,
30.
or whatever. They just want to make them feel better or whatever. Because, like, it feels like they get a little bit, as the kids say, get a lot of glaze. They get glazed a lot with their Paul Skeens, and all that junk. But like, I don't know. It was just even better because Andrew Abbott's also another disrespected guy that never gets mentioned on there, was an all-star last year. Actually, I think I misspoke. I said that Chase Burns is having a better season this year in the first half. I looked back to last year. Did you know what Andrew Abbott's numbers were at one point?
They were pretty good.
It was like 7-1, 8-1 with like a 1.72 ERA. That's better than Burns. I can't believe he wasn't on the all-star team. Not just how
out the gate.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous to me. I guess the Reds disrespect. I get it. Not everyone's going to get 7 all-stars like the Yankees or the Dodgers, but like the Reds have 2 legit all-stars, Burns and Ellie. And we can get into all that later or what have you. But I just don't understand why the Pirates get so much shine. They're just as terrible as us.
They just get that participation trophy where, you got the number 1 pick. You guys should win some games, but yet they're in year 3 with Skeens and they haven't made the playoffs or even sniffed the playoffs. They're playing better this year, but they're still 4th in the NL Central.
Yeah, it's almost like they're due percentage from Fangraphs. Like they're due to make the playoffs. They can't be terrible this many years in a row, but I don't know. It felt especially sweet on the Saturday game. Was there a rain delay in that one as well? That kind of delayed the game. It was raining like cats and dogs out there in Pittsburgh, and just Eugenio Suárez coming through in the clutch, just perfect, because it felt like that these Pirates are like, oh, we're gonna win Saturday, and then we're gonna win Sunday, and then we can go back to, being the better team out of the bottom of the NL Central. But unfortunately, our last pitch or last strike, last out for the top of the 9th, Eugenio Suárez comes in the clutch, and it's been the typical Gino experience in terms of lots of strikeouts. His batting average is what, 210, and then he'll come in the clutch just every so often when you need it. I don't know if that makes it feel better, losing out on the Schwarber, sweepstakes and what have you, but at least it makes you feel better on a Saturday to beat your NL Central opponent in the last swing of the bat and just getting over on them 9-7.
Yeah, and this picture here was just Greg Kuffner, Reds Daily Forbes shared this, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, it's a good one. There's one for the audio audience. It's I think this is exactly where Gino hit the ball, right?
Yes.
Right field corner. This Pirates fan who's been rained on for probably the last 2 or 3 hours is just looking just inconsolable, just upset that I think, he's the one that got the ball. He's got it in his right hand there, and I think the kid wants the ball, maybe to throw it back, maybe not, but he's probably just like, what is my life? Why am I wearing this loser uniform on right now? And why is this kid have hope in this team that they're gonna finally be good? It is quite a sight.
That was one of my favorite pictures I've seen in a long time. It just brought a smile to my face when I saw it.
Hey, now
that poor kid better have gotten that baseball too, by the way.
Does he want it?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're a kid of the baseball game. You want a baseball. Sure,
yeah. Anyway, you can get it, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny that it's off of, Suarez's bat that he gets a ball and his team loses because of it. But you know what?
Yeah, and what's funny was all the Pirates Twitter people when they ended up signing Suárez in the offseason. Here's a compilation of every Eugenio Suárez strikeout against the Pirates, and it's like, take that, Pirates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the weird thing about this rivalry that I don't get either. Obviously we haven't won since 1990, the World Series. They haven't won since 1979, but they have like all this gall and confidence to go at Reds fans as if they've been the dominant team in the division, just beating everybody. I don't get it. It's a loser franchise. I actually feel bad for Connor Griffin that he got extended because now he's stuck there instead of
they'll trade him.
Well, I guess instead of being, his 6 years of control and then being, in Los Angeles or New York, Now he has to, be a loser Pirate for at least, I guess he could be there only a couple years. You know what I mean? It could be like the, not to bring always back to the Miami Marlins. Could be like Giancarlo Stanton, where they sign him to a contract extension and then trade him the next year type of deal. But anyway, they I don't get it. I really don't get it with the Pirates fans. I don't know what they get out of it. I guess there is some trolling that they can get away with, that they're, ahead of us in the standings as we speak. But I don't know. Loser franchise. They obviously don't spend as much as us, because I think they're still like 20-something, 25th in the payroll. But good for Connor Griffin. Get your money, man, because you ain't going to get no World Series trophies at least.
Yeah, you're one of the very few Pirates to get extended in their young core. They had Garrett Cole for a while, ended up trading him. They've had their fair share of number 1 overall picks, and I couldn't tell you the last time the Reds had a number 1 overall pick. It's been a long time, not since I can remember. They've had a lot of number 2 picks, Hunter Green and Chase Burns being 2 of them. Nick Senzel, 2, right? I think was a number 2 overall pick, but not many number 1 overall picks that I can remember in Reds history, at least in my lifetime. 34 for timeline there. So yeah, I mean, I would like to think that the Reds would have at least translated a couple number 1 overall picks into at least a couple playoff appearances in that time, but that's just me being biased.
Yeah, for sure. And they lucked into a couple good ones, although they still have kind of like, I don't know, is it Joey Bart? Is he or Henry Davis was a number 1?
Yeah, Henry Davis was a number 1 overall pick, and he's just been mid.
Yeah.
I saw where somebody on Pirates Twitter highlighted him throwing somebody out at second on a sweeper. It's like, you threw out JJ Bleday, you didn't throw out Ellie.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they seem to want to like celebrate their, I guess, victories any way they can. And you know what? More power to them. When they beat us, swept us earlier in May, that's fine. You can take your victory lap then and all that. But like, dude, if they finish ahead of us in the division, we know this is a lost season. That's all I've got to say, because we're either selling off everybody to bring up all our farm system players, get Hector up here, get maybe Alfredo Dano up to AAA. Like that, if it's that type of season, fine. The Pittsburgh Pirates can finish ahead of us, finish 4th in division, get that 4th place trophy or whatever you want to consider it, 4th place banner. But I don't know, get out of here. Loser franchise. We lost to them on Sunday, so I guess we're not much better than them, but we at least got the series win and can at least go into Milwaukee with some momentum.
Yeah, I hope. Something.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up. The Reds have never had a number 1 overall pick. Just to go off on that tangent, they've only had like top 10 or like you said, 2nd overall picks. Senzel, Hunter Green, Jonathan India was number 5 overall. I don't know what's up with that. They're fixing the draft on us. What's going on here?
Maybe the fix is in. We don't want the greatest franchise in MLB history to have a number 1 overall pick.
No.
So it is what it is. At least we don't suck that bad where we had a bunch of number 1 overall picks and still never amounted to anything.
True. Yeah, I was saying, just imagine if we got Skeens and Hunter and Chase Burns. That would have been a nice way to set up our franchise.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, because you figure they would have got Skeens, and then they probably would have kept Skeens down in the minors for a full season like they did Burns, and possibly could still take Burns in that draft. And you have, instead of Lauder and Burns, you've got Skeens and Burns, and that would, with Hunter Green, and that would be an electric first 3 in a rotation. Or they would have took a hitter in the draft, and they probably would have took like Jack Caglione or Nick Kurtz in that draft instead of Burns. But yeah, that would have been crazy.
That would have been. But yeah.
By the way, we're not saying Skeens sucks by any means. It's just, he is having a down year in terms of his standards.
Yeah. Is it a rookie of the year and then followed up with Cy Young last year?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm against the glazing from the media.
Yeah,
that's all
me too.
for sure. But yeah, I don't know. We got some injury updates. We got some guys coming back. Hunter Green had 2 rehab starts this week. Emilio Pagan pitched twice as well. Although we have Blake Dunn that got hurt, we have Santillan that got hurt. What's going on with Eugenio Suárez? Is he going to be out? Is he okay? Because he got hit in the hand.
It didn't look good. The pictures, he had a big knot on his wrist, and that was the second time he got hit in that almost same spot. He got hit there on Wednesday against Milwaukee, I think, and then he gets hit there again today, and it's just, it's unfortunate. He just can't catch a break at this moment. It's like as soon as he starts to get hot, he gets some freak injury, and it's like he has such an issue with getting hit by pitches in the hand, and then just, I don't know, maybe he's just not bringing his hands back fast enough. He just kind of leaves them there. Maybe that's something he can work on. Although he is 35, I don't see where he can really change too much. But yeah, I think he, hopefully it's just kind of like a precautionary thing, and there's no serious. I haven't seen any post-game comments. I'm sure somebody's posted about it on Cincinnati Reds Talk. I'll see if I can find something.
I think Greg Huffner posted maybe the interview and whatnot, but it is really weird that Gino gets hit on the hand a lot. Didn't he get hit like right on the hand right before All-Star game, and he was going to be in the All-Star game for was he on the Diamondbacks at that point?
Yeah, he got hit in the hand during the All-Star game, and then he got hit like 3 days before the trade deadline.
That's it. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What is that? Like, he's just a magnet for getting hit on the hand, which, these guys, that they're highly skilled players. They don't want to like have little small injuries like that, because it can really mess up your swing and being able to hold the ball, be able to throw the ball, everything like that. That's, oof. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully nothing too major. It's not like he's setting the world on fire either, hitting 210, but we could use his bat every so often to have that great hit.
He gets hotter as the season goes along, and the injuries as the season goes along only hampers that from happening.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so we got also, I guess, a bunch of guys that are getting looked at as well. I heard like Ashcraft maybe is getting another look at his scan of his stuff or everything like that. They got who was it that I was looking at? Blake
Dunn left Friday's game with an elbow injury. It's something he's dealt with before in the past, so that's something they'll have to keep an eye on. It was Ellie tweaked his ankle in the game today, trying to get out of the batter's box. I don't know how bad it was. Hopefully it was just like he tweaked it, but man, he's just can't catch a break this season either. And then there was something else I wanted to think about. I can't remember.
Yeah, the Ellie one was kind of, I mean, that's the one, this really wet and wild weather that they had, is that it's amazing actually that we didn't get any more hurt or something like that. Guy pulling up, getting like a hamstring or like, doing something, because conditions were not great out there. And had a delay today as well for an hour or so that they had to wait to get that. And they weren't even completely sure they're going to get the game in, because it could have had more storms roll in and everything. So yeah, it's kind of a mash unit. We're bringing back guys. Pierce Johnson just came back from his rehab and what have you. Emilio Pagan I think he should be back with Hunter this week sometime. I don't know exactly when they'll make the roster moves, but they definitely could use both of those guys in this pitching staff, because it's a mash unit out there, man. I don't know exactly. We had a bunch of guys at the beginning of the season, and I should probably sort of like the 26-man roster to see like how many different guys have changed off of that, because it's been quite a difference since the beginning of the season to almost what we're the halfway point. So yeah, it's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I guess, on a positive note, before we move on to an even more positive note, Hunter Green and Pagan looked great in their 2 rehab appearances. Hunter Green today goes 6 1/3, 1 hit, retired 15 straight batters. It's huge getting his arm back. About a loss for words, what I want to use for him to come up. that him coming back, and if he can look like how he has in the past 2 years, that gives the Reds flexibility to make a move of somebody like Singer or even Lodolo. You can make a move, and that gives you that extra man in the rotation. And, depending on who they were to get back in a move like that, you still have potentially Brandon Williamson coming back in the next month or so. And, it just really helps out a lot.
Yeah, that was the guy that got a little bit of a setback, hurt his finger. Brandon Williamson recently. It was a little update on that. So hopefully it's just a minor setback. But yeah, he's had the shoulder arm fatigue thing. Obviously, he's coming back from missing all of 2025 with the UCL, I believe, and has looked all right. Didn't look great on top of his stuff, but I guess the shoulder was really, really sore. Definitely going to keep him on an innings limit. It doesn't seem like we're going to do that with other guys like Chase Burns and who is it? Julian Aguilar has looked like he's been pitching pretty strong. Doesn't need like that, but anyway, he's still at AAA. He's not ready for the majors, maybe not yet. But that was the one guy, and then also I guess Ke'Bryan Hayes is still working out there in the complex league. So, not to put it on that note. We'll see. That might be me. Oh, and TJ Friedl's back. He didn't look spectacular in his time at Louisville. He had some good games where he went like 4 for 5 or 4 for 4. But I really hope he's hopefully rejuvenated and can contribute to this team. At the very least, right? Like just contribute. We've always we've definitely documented TJ Friedl's kind of decline and his lack of production and his lack of defensive range. I don't know. I'd like to think he's got one last run in him. Hopefully it'll be in a time when the Reds need it, because they certainly could use some offense, some spark. Maybe TJ will get his chance to shine pretty soon.
Yeah, we can only hope. He didn't look great in AAA while he was down there. He was dropping a lot of bunts trying to get hits, and I think he misplayed a ball in Hunter's first rehab outing. And just, I don't know what else to say. He is getting older, and I just have I don't have much hope for a future of Friedl.
Yeah. It seems like he's had a really precipitous decline, and that's tough, man. Father Time's undefeated, and he's fighting it best he can. I think. I don't know exactly how much more he's got left in the tank, but hopefully he's got something for us.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think he could go out there and be like at least a league average hitter and provide average defense, if not just slightly below average defense. But I mean, he's been just awful. Just to put it nicely, he's just been awful.
Well, he's on the 26 man again, and we'll be probably platoon with Dane Myers and Steer and whoever else they got there out and left, Blade or have you, Marte, depending on the matchups. So we will see how that turns out. I don't know. I'm gonna hold out hope. I think he's gonna help us beat or at least get 2 wins against these stinking Brewers. He's gonna provide some inspiration. That's all. That's my putting it out there in the universe. Take. So
I got to take. I think that he goes 3 for 4 in one game during this Brewers series.
I'll take it. Just one game's good enough, at least, especially against this Brewers team, man. I don't think anybody on this team goes 3 for 4 against the Brewers. It's since like 2021.
And I think we got to face Miz. So, yeah,
probably not that game.
Yeah, probably not that game. I don't know if you saw the clip of the Cubs. It was PCA. So hopefully we see a lot of fastballs today. And then Miz whiffed like 4 straight fastballs by him. I think it was like one hit 105 point something. It was the fastest pitch ever recorded by a starter. Just, I mean, it's like sit down, PCA.
Yeah,
don't go out there and stand.
I think he fouled off the 105. That's the crazy.
He might have, but he was like self-defense. He just got lucky on that one.
It just clipped the bat. But yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah. We are gonna preview that in a little bit. The Mizorowski
hot take: we get no hit that game.
That'll be rough. That'll be a rough game if that's the case. I mean, you know what? You might run into a couple ones. You never know. I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, South Stewart exists, so who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. Let's go with that. And before we go into our Red Hot Red of the Week, we're going to run this ad.
Listen up, Reds fans. If you're repping the Cincinnati Reds this season, you need your drink just as cold as your takes. Introducing Frost Buddy, the world's first and only universal can cooler. Say goodbye to switching between coolers like you're rotating pitchers. Frost Buddy fits every 12-ounce can, slim can, 12-ounce bottle, and 16-ounce cans and bottles as well. All in one. No more guessing, no more swapping. Just grab it and go. And here's the game changer. Turn it into a tumbler by adding their 100% leak-proof coffee lid. That's right. From first pitch to morning commute, Frost Buddy's got you covered. So whether you're tailgating, watching from the couch, or celebrating a Reds win, this is the only cooler you'll need. Grab your favorite team's Frost Buddy now and keep it cold all season long. Yeah, and I'll say this about Frost Buddy. I don't know if you guys caught that coffee ad earlier in the video. I had that in my Frost Buddy with its 100% leak-proof lid. So, yeah, I mean, Frost Buddies is awesome. I continue to say great things about them. I just bought some water bottles for my kids for the upcoming school year. So, yeah, we got the QR code on the banner all episode long. Scan that with your phone on your TV or whatever you're watching this on, and get yours, because a lot of them are selling out. There's a lot of them that are selling out. They are restocking, but they're going quick. And I have mine with me. I got my old piece. I got my Arizona tea, free ad right there, just to show you that it does hold these massive cans, and they give you a separate lid for your big cans. And Roger, I know you use yours for your massive beers. So we need those beers with how the Reds have been playing lately.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of this week, which gets into our Red Hot Red of the Week. It wasn't a lot to choose from. The stats, like the Reds scored 6 runs in 3 games against the Brewers. 5 of them in one of the games. And then this series had some nice performances, had some decent starting, but nothing spectacular. Brady Singer could have been possibly like a Red Hot Red of the Week because he had a great outing on Monday. But then Sunday just went back to being regular Brady Singer. So we actually went with a guy that has had a pretty good month and a decent week this week. A guy that's come back. We talked about a lot this show already. Mr. TJ Antone. The month of June, he's been spectacular as well. I was just looking at those stats. But this week, he went 3 1/3 innings, I think in 4 outings, 3 hits, 0 walks, 4 Ks. Also, the reason why I kind of suggested him is he threw and hit Mr. Connor Griffin in the back. And the PNC faithful were not too pleased about it. And then he saluted the fans and put his hand over, which you got to have a lot of confidence to do that.
He clearly did not hit the guy on purpose. And
no, but he definitely owned
he fed into it big time. I love
exactly that. The wrestling he turned heel on the crowd with the that wrestling term, what have you. But overall, I think the month he's got like 13 innings, a .64 ERA, has been the outstanding pitcher to get like maybe the first guy they call out of the pen. If it's like the 8th or 7th inning, it's kind of crazy, Ricky. In 2026, we're talking about TJ Antone being the high leverage guy or the guy to keep the lead in the big spot. Has gotten out of some jams this month, bases loaded or coming in with inherited runners. Just been, top-notch reliever. A guy that you think had been pitching for like the last 5 years at an elite level. No, he's been injured off and on. It's kind of crazy to talk about TJ Antone like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a testament to the guy he is and the work ethic he has. I kind of spoke on it earlier, but 3 Tommy John surgeries, and to not only get back to the minor league level, but to get back to the major league level and be arguably the best reliever on the staff has been just, one of the very few bright spots in the pitching side of things for the Reds this year. And it's I love it, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's having this success. He's been nice to us. We've had some back and forths on social media with him coming through and coming on his comeback journey, and just if you follow his Instagram page, he's constantly working on something or whatever it may be. But he's just been an extremely hard worker, and friend of the show, Zach Presnell, he writes on Cincinnati Reds Talk. Also, he had a Tommy John surgery, so he kind of understands the struggle of getting back. And he's now a pitching coach and does pitching lessons. So good to see Antone get back, and I'm just really happy for him.
And also free advertising for Mr. TJ Antone. He wrote a book about his experience.
Yes.
The Tommy John Protocol, I believe is what it's called. And it's coming out soonish, or already has. I can't remember exactly the moment. But yeah, so shout out to TJ Antone. He's an author, not only an accomplished pitcher in the majors and what have you, but it's kind of autobiographical and instructional book about his journey called the Tommy John Protocol. So yeah, he's getting out there. He's diversifying his talents and everything, not just the Cincinnati Reds pitcher. He's an author as well.
Nice.
So that is our Red Hot Red of the week, and we hopefully will have a couple more candidates next week after we beat the snot out of the Brewers for 4 straight games, and then come home on the 4th of July weekend and sweep the. Talk about a team that's been disappointing the last couple of seasons, the Baltimore Orioles. Oof. And we'll get into that right now, I guess. We got 4 games on tap against the Brewers, 3 games against the Orioles at home. The Brewers series at American Family. I still call it Miller Park.
It's always Miller Park.
And then before that, it was Milwaukee County Stadium. That's how old I am. I remember the Milwaukee County Stadium name. That's back in the 90s and 80s. But anyway, the Brewers 4 games. Oof, that's rough. And like you said, we do get Miz, but Miz is going up against our guy, Chase Burns.
Oh, that's going to be an electric matchup.
From what I got here in the probables. I don't know exactly if things may change. I'm not sure if the Hunter Green stuff changes things or not, but that's what I've got here, at least ESPN.com, or no for more free ads. Sorry. But that's what they say here. I don't know exactly sure if MLB says the same thing.
I'll check MLB real quick.
But yeah, then we play tomorrow already going up there in Milwaukee. Nick Lodolo, I think, is expected to start, even though his wrist got smacked from a comebacker. Hopefully he'll be able to go more than 4 innings like he did on that day. I think that was against the Brewers as well. So he's playing against the Brewers for 2 straight weeks. Hopefully Nick Lodolo can get some stuff going on.
MLB has Burns and Miz going Thursday.
That's crazy. They should have. All right, it's a little small tangent. I'm not trying to tell teams how to use their pitchers, but they literally moved the game on the 1st, July 1st, to ESPN, to national television at 8:00, and it could have been Burns Mizorowski. But baseball is weird like that, right? Like where sometimes you get the national TV game and it's your guy that isn't like the ace, you know what I mean, that goes up there and whatever. Anyway, small tangent over.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really difficult series. Just based off the last series, as long as we can take one game and win one game out of the series, you can't really call it a win, but you can you get that participation trophy that the kids get nowadays.
Yeah.
I feel like that is what it will be if you can get one. If you split, that's a win. Splitting the series is a win for us, just based off prior history and not being able to beat these Brewers. Although we are coming off of winning 2 out of 3 against the Brewers in Milwaukee to finish the season last year. So there's that. I don't know what else to say other than I think Thursday's game is going to be one of the best pitching matchups of the season of anybody in baseball. I just, as long as Burns, is Chase Burns and doesn't regress, which he is kind of showing a little bit of signs of fatigue, I think he's pretty close, if not already surpassed career highs in innings. But I think Mizorowski's getting close up there too in some of his career highs and stuff. So we'll see. Everybody's due for a bad outing. And, I think the last time we faced Mizorowski, he kind of struggled and we got some run. I think we might have beat him if I remember right. But he's one of the best pitchers in baseball for a reason. I think he leads Major League Baseball in ERA. It's like 1.45, I think. And Burns kind of went up over his last outing. It was up to 2.36, an astoundingly high 2.36. He's been hovering around that 2 ERA all season. He was at below 2 for a little while, but if you're getting a 2 ERA out of Burns, we weren't really expecting that this early in his career. And it's just been awesome to see him develop into the way he's developed this year. And like I've said 100 times, I apologize to Chase Burns and his family for not wanting to take him with the second overall pick. Mostly because I was kind of uneducated on who he was, and I had really been doing a lot of research on hitters that the Reds desperately needed at the time.
Yeah.
And the one that I wanted I think he's still in Double-A. So
I think Condon got moved up to Triple-A in Colorado. Yeah, okay. I think he's Triple-A right now. And Bazana finally made his debut a couple weeks ago for Cleveland. So, yeah, that draft class actually might go down as all.
It's one of the best. Yeah.
Nick Kurtz is in that one, right? So, like, it's pretty good, like 1 to 10, which you don't see that a lot in baseball.
Yeah. Especially with, like, first round, like early round picks, like early, like 1 through 10, 1 through 15. A lot of great talent in that draft. It's nobody missed.
Yeah. Jury's still out maybe on some of them, but they still got some time. It's 2024. It's only 2 years ago, right? But we do miss Brandon Woodruff, the guy that I was trying to allude to earlier, Brandon Sprout, the guy they traded in the Freddie Peralta deal from the Mets. He's the guy that no-hit us, I think, Tuesday night for a long, long time. We get him again. So, I don't know. Lodolo, hopefully we get a good outing out of him. Then we got Louder. Abbott's got the ESPN game, and then Burns. If we can get 2 of those games, whether it's Louder or Lodolo, but Abbott hopefully can win on Wednesday night, I'm okay if we split the series losing to Mizorowski on the getaway game, because this team sometimes just folds it up on getaway games and just kind of – and then you add on to a guy who throws 105. We might get perfect gamed. You said no hit. Yeah, we might get perfect gamed if that's a verb.
Yeah, one positive sign for us is the Brewers bullpen is kind of taxed going into the series. Uribe threw multiple innings. Let me find the Charlie Goldsmith tweet. Oh, come on. It has Ashby, Uribe, and McGill.
McGill, yeah.
Yeah. All how they have them at the back of the bullpen over the weekend. Each of those 3 pitchers threw 2 out of 3 games, and Uribe went multiple innings today. The back of the bullpen for the Brewers will be taxed entering the series against the Reds. So hopefully we can get to the starters, get to the bullpen, and then get some magic going.
Okay. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Moving on to the Orioles series. 4th of July. They got Friday the 3rd, Saturday the 4th, and the 5th against the team that I think, I don't know, they seemed like they had a good 2023 core, kind of like us, that were coming through, and they were going to be a team that's going to be good for a long time. But nothing is guaranteed in baseball, so they've kind of regressed. I want to say they're in the bottom half of the division in the AL East, because you got the Yankees, you got the Rays, you got the Blue Jays. The Red Sox, I think, are the last place team. I think they might be 4th, if I'm thinking it right. Not too familiar with their game, to be honest with you, because like the guys that got pitching, potentially Rogers, Young, Bradish, not familiar with a lot of AL East guys, to be honest with you. But should be for us, Lodolo, Louder, and Abbott again. So, some guys that should have some decent outings, hopefully at home. But we will see. I'm not exactly sure what to expect from our actually, no, I got that wrong. Singer, Lodolo, Louder for that one. I forgot about Brady Singer.
Yeah, so the Orioles, their offense really kind of regressed. Henderson's just hitting 221, Taylor Ward's 256. He's been kind of focusing more on trying to get on base this season as opposed to hitting for power. Pete Alonso hitting just an 820 OPS. He's got 19 home runs, so he is a power threat still. Tyler O'Neill was a big signing from them last year. 182 average. Jackson Holiday 204 average. None of their guys are really performing well this season. I think Adley Rutschman, this might be a year he gets traded. There was a rumor about him getting traded to the Reds for Stevenson before the season started. He's hitting 255 with a 788 OPS. So we'll see what happens there. Really, outside of Pete Alonso, they don't have a whole lot of offensive threats. I mean, obviously, Henderson's one of the better, I don't want to say prospects, but potential players. He was a really highly, I think he was an all-star last year, right? He was just a really, really good talent. And he's right up there with talent-wise with the Royals shortstop.
Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt, yeah. They're kind of in that same boat as, like him, Witt, Ellie are kind of like those three shortstops that everyone talks about as like the next three that are going to be the elite face of the game shortstops. So regression from him, but obviously, it's still going to be July when this series starts. So, you still have 2 more months to kind of turn it around and get something going. We say the same thing for the Reds. So you can't really count these guys out. They have a ton of potential, and, obviously Alonso can beat you. And he was a guy that I wanted the Reds to go after if they weren't going to get Schwarber, and they made no interest in Alonso. So, yeah, there's that. But as far as pitching, I don't think they have anybody that really kind of blows you away. Yeah, I mean, they lost to Zach Littell today.
Oof. Ouch. That sums up their season a little bit. This is going to be an interesting stretch for the Reds. Obviously going against the Brewers again. They're going up against a team that's under 500 like themselves. If this is going to be the typical Reds thing, right? They could get swept 4 games, let's say, by the Brewers, go into the Orioles and stink it up then we at least know, I think, where this team is at, is that they're going to be sellers. They're going to be lucky to get 2 all-stars. They're going to be in a situation where they're calling up guys and maybe moving contracts off like Brady Singer, maybe, Tyler Stevenson, what have you, right? Like, we'll know where they're at. But I feel like this is going to be a week where we're not sure where we're at with this Reds team. They may go like 1 out of 4 in Milwaukee and then win 2 out of 3 against the Orioles and then be like still hovering, below 500, but hovering, and signs of life maybe, because you'll have Hunter Green potentially start a game this week. You'll have Pagan possibly close out a couple games, and then we're going to be back to like, what is this team? Are we good? Are we bad? Are we trying? Are we not going to try? Are we going to sell? Are we going to trade? This could be a frustrating next couple weeks before we hit the All-Star break, is how I feel.
What could happen is something crazy happens and they go out and win 3 out of 4 in Milwaukee, and they go win 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. Like, it could be one of those weeks that it just gives us that false hope, and then they go into the deadline and then they don't sell, and then they completely fall apart at the end of the season and it's too late.
Yeah, and just trade for like a couple relievers, get a couple guys off the bargain bin that got DFA'd to get some depth in maybe the outfield and the infield. Maybe get a starter, like they got Littell last year. They could definitely use that, especially if, like you said, they may pare down Mr. Burns's innings as he gets later and later into the year. I don't know. This is going to be, I feel like we say it every week, a make or break week, or at least a show us what you have week. We thought last week was going to be a blow up the team. We're going to go 1-6 or 1-5 and just like stink it up. But 2-4, I guess we're good again. No, I don't know.
I don't know. It's rough.
I know this, Ricky, unless we have a miracle last couple days, because we got 10 more days? No, Got a couple more days in June. I don't think we're going to hit 500. I think we're below 500 after that loss against Pittsburgh. So it's going to be, I think, at best 11-15 or 12-15 for the month of June, which usually we're a lot better than that. For the month of June, I make this joke all the time, obviously on the show, that June's our favorite month of the year.
Not this year.
Not this year. Not the way they've been playing, going out and stinking it up at the beginning of June. I don't know. Hopefully we're not doing the same old song and dance at the beginning of July. We're like, gosh, just get us to, I don't know, the end of this. Get us to football season. Get us to
Hooray, baby.
Yeah, get us to August. So it feels like it could be that, but hopefully not. I don't know. Signs of life. Got some guys coming back. We got some guys that are starting to hopefully get back to where their water meets level type of scenario. But I don't know. What is your prediction for this week?
Oh, my heart wants me to say they go 2 out of 4 against Milwaukee, and then 2 out of 3 versus Baltimore. But I feel like it's going to be 0-4 against Milwaukee, and then 1 out of 3 against Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that might be surprising. I think they at least get 1 against Milwaukee. 2, that's like a win. And if they get 2 from, like, best case scenario, I think is 4-3 this week. 5-2 would be fantastic. 4-3 is great. 3-4, 3 wins.
7-0, baby. 7-0. We're gonna win streak starts today.
Let's start celebrating. America 250. Let's go. So yeah, why not? I don't know. It could be. It could be. I don't know. Beating Miz on the getaway day, that would take a miracle onto itself. We would need, I don't know, we would need a lot of help that day, one way or the other.
All it takes is Sal Stewart running into a first pitch fastball in the top of the first, and then you get no hit the rest of the game. And then Burns just pitches lights out and goes 7 innings, and then the bullpen pitches 2 innings of shutout baseball, and you win 1-0. That's all it takes.
Yeah, simple.
Simple. Easy
as it sounds. So, but yeah, we will see until then. If you've made this far, please like, comment, subscribe to our channel, youtube.com at Red Hot Reds Podcast. Check out Ricky's stuff at Reds on SI. Is getting out lots of articles this week.
It's super busy this weekend.
Yeah. Check all that out. Check out our Instagram, our X, our Facebook, TikTok, all the things. And also All Gloves Off with all the new guys that we've added. Far End of the Bench, the Fanboys Unleashed, Football with Cheese, and Lights Out Podcast. Cheap Pop Society, Sirhan, all eras. So got lots of options for if you're a sports fan and what have you. So really thankful for you, Ricky, and all the stuff you do for this channel and this program. But yeah, I got anything else before we sign off?
No, just I put out a couple articles today. Hunter Green rehab outing, Pagan's rehab outing, and a little teaser for Minor League Monday. Alfredo Duno is moving up.
And a couple other guys too from Dayton. So it's not just him.
You know what? Kian Vu also. It's official.
Official.
It's
Ooh.
official.
Are you an insider?
Not official, but I got some inside information.
You're a baseball insider here. Right?
It's happening. Kian Vu is on his way to Chattanooga as we speak.
Subscribe to this channel. Ricky is a baseball insider. And we need to make sure that we gotta get some breaking news headlines and stuff like that going on. But anyway. Exactly. But until then, go Reds.
Go Reds.